Lifetime Physical Activity and Fitness Exercise 1000 Week 12 Beginner's Yoga video. We will be doing a gentle yoga routine today that will last approximately 30 minutes. During that time, it is best to use a sticky yoga or Pilates mat for these exercises. However, using the floor in your living room or some other carpeted area would be fine. Make sure that you're barefoot during these activities because when you perform these activities in socks, you tend to slide. And if you do it with shoes on, you will not get the full range of motion through your ankle joint. Remember that this exercise is for flexibility training, and we'll be using both dynamic and static forms of stretching during this flexibility training. It's best to begin by focusing on your breathing during yoga. In yoga, the breath is inhaling and exhaling through the nose. We do not breathe through our mouth during yoga. And we want to inhale fully so that we fill up all the way, not just in our lungs and chest cavity, but down into our abdominal cavity as well. The breath should be slow and controlled and a focus of your practice throughout the entire exercise. During the exercise today, perform only the yoga poses that feel most comfortable to you. If at any point in time that you feel pain or discomfort, please come back to one of our 3 resting poses. Our first resting pose is sitting in the cross-legged position. This is sometimes called a modified lotus position. Full lotus would be with our legs pulled up through and our feet resting on our knees, which is a more advanced sitting position. In our seated position, we want to be in that somewhat neutral positioning with our ears, shoulders, and our hips in alignment. So we don't want to be leaning forward or slouching down. So sitting up nice and tall, feeling ourselves elongate through our spine. Our second resting pose that you can go to at any point in time that you feel pain or discomfort is known as child's pose. In child's pose, you're resting on your knees with your hips sitting back on your heels. And you can choose to have your arms out in front, stacked in fists supporting your forehead, or with your arms relaxed down to your sides and your forehead resting at the mat. The third resting pose is final relaxation or corpse pose, in which you just lie in a supine position on your back with your palms facing up. If at any point in time during our activity today you feel uncomfortable with an exercise, please wait in one of those 3 resting poses and then join back with us when you feel ready to perform the exercise again. It is best to practice your breathing exercises at the beginning of any yoga session for at least 5 to 10 minutes. I recommend that you spend 5 to 10 minutes now with the video paused to practice your breathing exercises before beginning. Once you have established a solid breathing pattern, we're going to begin through our gentle yoga exercises, beginning by moving 1 breath, 1 movement. Inhaling, bringing our arms up, and exhaling, lowering down, moving at your own breathing pace. And then beginning to move that into a rotation. So as we inhale, we bring our arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to rotate the body, dropping our arms down to our sides. One more time to each side. Inhale, returning to center. Exhale, relaxing your arms down to the side. Now we're going to come into an all fours position in an exercise that we used in our core training warm-up. Placing your wrists directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. Let's inhale into cow and exhale into cat. Using one breath, one movement, rotating our hips, moving our pelvis through its full range of motion, arching our spine and dipping our spine. Make sure that you're not leaning back and forth. One more round through. Inhaling back to tabletop. Let's exhale, bring our hips back into child's pose. Let's do an extended version of child's pose, reaching those arms out as far as you can. Trying to get those hips down towards the heels. If you need to, you can widen your knees to let your body rest down a little bit closer to the mat. If this bothers your shoulders, you can bring your hands in, stacking them here. With each exhale, feeling your hips sink a little bit closer to your heels, just releasing some tension in the static hold. And on our next inhale, let's walk our hands up towards the front of our mat, bring our knees back underneath the hips, coming into that modified plank position. And as we exhale, let's lower down into what we call the crocodile or low hold, and then all the way down to the mat. Inhale, coming up into the cobra, and then exhaling, pushing back into that extended child's pose. This is something we call a half series, and we're going to keep repeating it, one breath, one movement for 10 cycles. So we inhale, modified plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back into child's pose. 9 more cycles. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale back. Trying to keep that breath focused in and out through the nose. Seven more. Keep that breath slow and controlled. 3 more. One breath, one movement. Last one. Resting in child's pose. You can choose to stay in extended child's pose. Rest your hands underneath your forehead or bring your arms back. From here, we're going to walk our hands back, up onto our thighs into what we call hero's pose. Sitting up nice and tall, focusing on ears over shoulders over hips, and then resting down at the heels. Really focus on controlling your breathing here. And as we inhale, let's come up onto our knees. Take our hands and place them on the small of our back. And look up, arching our back slightly into modified camel. Opening up the chest here, trying to keep the hips over the knees. Slowly coming back up. Let's go ahead and walk our hands back out. And this time we're going to press up for just a brief moment into that plank position. We're going to take our left leg and swing it forward, dropping our right knee down. This is the starting position for what we call pigeon. If you feel tension here in the outside of your left hip, you want to stay right here. Mild tension is okay. If you feel pain, we want to go ahead and choose one of our 3 resting poses to rest in at this point in time. If you do not feel any tension here, you may slowly work that right leg back, so long as that left hip does not roll over and touch the ground. Once you feel you're down as far as you can comfortably go, if you're still feeling only mild tension and not pain, or if you're not feeling any tension at all, you can slowly lower your arms down towards the mat or extend them all the way out in front of you. Wherever you feel most comfortable. Again, breathing. And then walking our hands back up on our inhale, curling your back foot under, pressing back up into that plank. Sweep the left leg back and swing the right leg forward, getting yourself set comfortably on the opposite side. And note that one side of your body may have a greater range of motion or flexibility than the other, so working within the limits of that side of your body and not necessarily trying to match the movement on both sides. Again, working back or lowering down, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Maintaining that slow, controlled breath. on your inhale, walking your hands back up. This time bringing your hand to the outside of the right leg, rolling over onto that hip and swinging the left leg around so that we come into a seated position. Our next yoga pose is called staff. We want to flex our feet, so we're bringing our toes back towards our body and straight up to the ceiling. Our legs should be extended here, nice and flat towards the mat. We want to bring our ears, shoulders, and hips into alignment and place our hands next to our hips for support only. We are not pressing through our hands. We're working on the hamstring elongation here, increasing our flexibility in that part of our body and improving our postural alignment. And from staff, we're going to move into our seated forward fold, inhaling, bringing our arms up. And as we exhale, we want to lift our rib cage up and over our thighs. So lifting up with the inhale, exhale, reaching forward to wherever we feel comfortable. If we feel comfortable reaching to our thighs, we reach to our thighs. If we feel comfortable reaching to our ankles, we reach to our ankles. If we feel comfortable reaching out towards our toes, we reach out towards our toes. We want to try and keep a nice flat back as we reach forward, and once we can no longer maintain that flat back, we relax our head and shoulders here. Breathing through our forward fold. And on your next inhale, release your hands and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, rounding your spine until you come back up into that staff pose. We'll give you one more seated forward fold, inhaling, bringing our arms up, and exhaling, reaching that body forward, relaxing the arms, head, and shoulders when you reach the point where you can no longer press forward. Inhale, rolling back up one vertebra at a time into that staff pose. Our next pose we're going to move into is called butterfly. I'm going to rotate on my mat so that you can see me more clearly. So you do not have to rotate for this exercise. We're going to place the bottoms of our feet together, grasping at the ankles, sitting up nice and tall through our spine, aligning those ears, shoulders, and hips, and pressing our knees out towards the mat. Your feet do not have to be tucked in close. We are opening up through our hip adductors. If you do not feel any tension here with your legs pressed out, you can go ahead and bring the feet in slowly, keeping the knees pressed out to the sides. We don't want to be bowed up like this, so extending to the point where we're nice and wide, but don't press on the knees themselves. With each exhale, feel your shoulders fall away from your ears and your knees fall towards the floor. With each inhale, feel your spine elongate nice and tall. From this position, we're going to extend our left leg out. Again, I'm going to rotate on my mat to show you better. Take the right leg over the top of the left leg. If this causes too much stress on your hip, place the right leg right next to the left leg. Whichever way you choose to do this exercise, it's called the kingfish. You're going to sit up nice and tall, and you're going to take that left arm around the outside of the right leg, placing the right arm behind the body. With each inhale, you want to feel your spine come up nice and tall. With each exhale, we're working on rotating the whole torso, not just the head, but the whole torso outward to that right side. And as I said, you can choose to do it with your leg here if that creates too much tension on the outside of your right hip. And on your next exhale, rotate back to the center. Release that right leg down. Bring the left leg up. Again, choosing to place it inside of the right leg or to the outside, and noting that we might feel different amounts of tension on each side of our hips. So checking with that left hip and feeling what feels comfortable. Wrap that right arm around the left leg. Extend the left arm out behind. Inhale, elongate the spine. Exhale, rotate to the left. On your next exhale, rotating back around, coming back into our staff pose. Let's go ahead and place the bottoms of our feet onto our mat and roll down slowly to the mat. We're again going to perform an exercise from our core workout called the bridge, bringing our heels in towards our hips, making sure that they're nice and flat on the mat. We're going to inhale, prepare our body, engage those pelvic floor muscles. Exhale, roll up one vertebra at a time until you're nice and high in that bridge. And we're going to hold here. Squeezing those glutes, maintaining that stability in the body. And then exhale, roll it down one vertebra at a time. Grab behind one leg and roll yourself up slightly. We're going to place our hands behind us, our fingers facing down towards our toes, and extend our leg out. And we're going to go into a reverse plank here. Inhaling, preparing, exhaling, pressing the body up until we have a nice straight line from the shoulders through the hips down to the heels. Keeping our head in alignment with our spine and opening up through our chest. One more deep inhale. Exhale, lower down. And come all the way down to your mat. Let's bring one knee and then the other into our chest. Wrap your arms gently around the top. And we're going to rock side to side here. This is called our shell pose. After a couple more rocks here, when you feel ready to, we're going to extend those legs out, relax our arms to our sides, into our corpse pose, and enter final relaxation. In final relaxation, you again want to focus on your breathing pattern, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, feeling the stomach rise with each inhale and fall with each exhale. And this is a conscious relaxation, so making sure that you do not fall asleep during this period of time, but that you let go of all other thoughts around you. I recommend pausing the video at this point in time to stay in final relaxation for approximately 10 minutes. At the end of your final relaxation, keeping your eyes closed, slowly come up to a seated position. Inhale, bringing your arms up as you open your eyes. And exhale, relax your arms down into chest center. I want to say thank you for your practice today. Make sure that when you're finished with your yoga practice today that you drink plenty of water, as it can dehydrate your muscles, and take your time getting up from the floor as it can cause some dizziness.